please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log. Subdates 250910. We're getting ready for the season of spoop by eviscerating Zzzzombrocoli, selling his entrails and buying chocolate with his lobes. We just need to work out how to stop him from regenerating, and we can resolve this issue altogether. When you as a creator have fallen so far from where you once resided, a land of plenty where you were safe, stable, and able to be as creative as possible without compromising on your beliefs, to finally tasting pussy and deciding, you know what? I think I'm going to hold the camera while my wife does all the hard work. To lose your way, give up on your values, decide that you want to go on an apology tour, destroy any relationship you had away from your wife, forge new ones that were even more shallow, and end up basically broke. That lolcow themselves, the channel, make an offer to you, things are slightly off. On that note...
Anissa, Ian, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye. We're not seeing eye to eye right now, all right? But in about 6 months, in about a year, the money's all gonna dry up. There's gonna be nothing left, and you guys are gonna be looking for real jobs.
I don't know. They're getting, reasonable subscribers. I say they, Ian, on Twitch, and Anissa is, I assume, doing only Super Fiber adult film actor. There's always a chance that she'll go down the full hardcore route, which won't change anything for her, and Idubbzzz might get an extra 2 or 3 subs, you never know. I am quite the optimistic individual.
Now, neither one of you are qualified for real jobs, so I would like to offer you the Lolcow Universe backup plan. We'll have the Idubbzzz and Anissa morning show. It'll come on right after cafe. People will donate $20 to call you a cuck and pick on you, and you'll get a percentage of that money.
I'm not going to deny, in the short term, that would be quite the lucrative offer. And yeah, even I would throw money at that, as long as he read it and says it out loud over and over again. But I know that principles matter to some people, don't they, guys? When one cannot shelve their ego, their pride, long enough to do what is better for them and their future, even if that future is barren, they invariably end up saying, would you like fries with that? When they once used to be considered the pinnacle in their respective field. Oh, and Anissa.
I will help you pay rent.
Really and Friends super chatted $20. Idubbzzz needs a show with Freshy Fresh to remind him what it's like to actually be the smartest man in the room.
Every time PPP and Andy Worski on you.
Which, in case you don't follow them on Kick to find out, they do it quite a lot. They have access to more information than I could believe possible. And PPP sweats an awful lot for someone his size anyway. It's, I'd say, entertaining, but I often wonder how he manages to keep his weight up when he looks like he could be dehydrating or boiling over.
They're going to be driving traffic to come shit on your show directly, because you won't be able to censor the donators. You won't be able to censor the chat, all right? But you're going to be making money off of your shame. You have been doing this all the wrong way. You have been destroying your marriage, destroying your life, destroying your career, and not making a single dollar doing it. I will monetize your downfall.
Whether you like or respect Lolcow Live is entirely up to you. I personally enjoy watching this absolute tragedy that is Idubbzz's career going down the drain, because he's too proud to realize every wrong decision he's made has led the popular opinion to be, you brought this on yourself, why won't you listen to sense? No one thought, oh, you were better when you were a virgin. No, we just know that you made a choice, it's now become a bad one, and we, while you think you're supportive and being a good husband, think you need to pay the piper for it. And when you're able to bury your ego and do something that benefits both of you, which does mean being on the receiving end of a lot of criticism, so you can possibly rebuild your name, which is unlikely at this point, LogCal Live, again whether you like them or not is up to you, can be there to help you monetize that shame. You still get more views than me though, so I guess you could ignore what I have to say on this.
So think of me.
I mean,
When
if
you're
he
at
doesn't
the-
want to do it, I would like to do a show with Anissa. I will take the Republican side of every argument and just piss her off.
Oh, I'd watch that. I would watch that so hard.
Idubbzzz, before you jump, before you swing, before you call it quits, remember, we're here to save you.
It's like a motivational speak, but with added perks where we get to embarrass somebody, humiliate them, but not bully because they're making money from it. Is my sarcasm sign required for that part? Now, this all came about because Idubbzzz has just put out a new video titled Coming Clean ... It is mostly downvoted at 17,000 dislikes to 11,000 upvotes. Many in the comments did speculate whether or not the audience mostly just hate watch, whether or not this is basically just giving PPP and Andy a money printer because new video. Others highlighting the lack of anything from Ian when it comes to child marriage, which apparently is the subject of the video. So we should probably dive into some clips of that.
Today, I'm going to be doing the thing that everyone tells you not to do, and that is feed the trolls.
It's only feeding the trolls if your information can be picked at just the right way to run counter to the information that is currently known. Yes, of course, there are going to be some black-pilled types, nihilists, who just want to see you burn, but the vast majority don't. They're trolling you because you can't introspect. They're trolling you because you can't handle criticism. They're trolling you because you presented half-baked information. They're trolling you because you took the wrong side in a much larger argument and used GeoGuessr to think you can then speak on politics in other countries and cultures. You kind of opened the door for yourself there.
One of the more important things that I want to talk about is my relationship with Anissa. I love Anissa. I love everything about her. I've only grown to love her more with time, and a lot of people online don't see it that way.
I'm so glad I didn't feature in that, but mostly because I couldn't care less if she's a good or bad influence for you. I will admit, since being together, there has been a marketable change in who you are, and not only in who you are, but what you present as content, allowing the influence of others to dictate the kind of person you are, which would imply somehow without a woman in your life you were an edgy boy? Bit late to the party, but okay. I assume because of your deep and immense love that grows day by day, you're going to fob off many of the concerns people have about the kind of man you are because of who your wife is.
For me, it's very obvious. I thought more people would be able to catch on. I am quiet, stoic, not talkative. She is the opposite of that. She is loud, very talkative, social. People struggle to understand that dynamic, I think, especially me being a person who has made a career of talking online.
I think you might be a misunderstanding here. People don't deny you're a quiet person. People also don't deny she's a vocal person. In fact, her being a vocal person in the way that she is a problem. You being quiet or stoic, if anything, just leans into the cuck side of things. The good sign of a relationship is being able to tell your partner from time to time to shut up. Both people should be able to do that to each other when they're going too far. And Anissa has repeatedly gone too far, and you have said nothing. You've just blindly supported under the guise of intense love, which then leans into the argument that there is no such thing as intense love when you're holding the camera while she does OnlyFans.
So yes, Anissa will oftentimes, like in many relationships, be the more talkative one.
Based on all the information that's come out from Creator Clash and every other aspect of yours lives when you're getting involved in things publicly or not, toxic is more appropriate to talkative. Because if there's ever a shitty person in a relationship, she is definitely it. And you're just letting it go under the guise of talkative.
We've been together for nearly 10 years, and all of it has been online for the public to see, and there are still people accusing her of cheating, accusing me of being in an abusive relationship. None of this is true, and there is no evidence for any of this except, like, I guess body language experts coming on and being like, Idubbzzz is being stoic here, therefore he's in hell.
The next part you're about to show, I'm gonna give you fair warning, not my audience, but Idubbzzz, would lead me to believe you watch these creators to get this clip. You could claim Discord or some of your fans or Discord peoples have looked into this, right? You can claim it, that's fine. However, It will not help your argument nor your position. And the reuse of the word stoic. That's cute, by the way.
Okay, hang on. Watch the change there. Watch the change there.
I don't know what the that was. I have never gotten.
Look at Ian in this moment. Oh my god!
Like, he looks sad. No, he is disgusted at her. He's depressed. He's so disgusted
Working
by this.
on.
He looks disgusted with this. He looks...
Using Kino Casino, I know for a sarcastic point of body expert people's, that's it, expression, whatever it was called you said earlier and I've already forgotten, is like me relying on WebMD to diagnose cancer, or going to Syria for neurosurgery, or calling a police officer a muppet in the United Kingdom. I get the point you want to make, a sarcastic, deflective point, but you have just given the Kino Casino so much more ammunition against you because you can't take on board an ounce of the criticism, much of which is valid, not those clips that were cherry-picked. Much of the criticism on YouTube, more notably, is quite valid, to simply accept that not everything is as good as you think it is. You're too proud to accept that.
So uncomfortable. He's like, should I be here? He looks so uncomfortable. Look at this guy's body language. He doesn't want to be there.
Look how miserable he looks. Dude, he looks miserable. Dude, he looks like he wants to kill himself.
When they put Hassan on the screen with Idubbzzz, no lie, my first thought was, are we talking about Idubbzzz being uncomfortable or Hassan? Because when they did the stream together, Hassan looked uncomfortable every time Idubbzzz spoke. There were clips doing their rounds when Idubbzzz made the realization certain like geopolitical points came up in discussion, and it was like when Hassan was talking, Idubbzzz looked like he came to the realization Hassan was in the wrong, but didn't say anything because, much like with his wife, he doesn't know how to speak up.
I mean, I kind of want to kill myself now. Okay, so they're not a fan of the resting bitch face. All right, well, I'm not going to smile all the time, fellas. And even when I smile, you guys still, like, contort it into he's so uncomfortable or he's smiling through the pain.
So, years ago, Dankula, Count Dankula, Lord Count Dankula, made a video to you because of the change in you. Many of his points of criticism having, I believe, spoken to you once or twice. His points of criticism towards you were your feeding of the trolls, not being able to handle that kind of negativity, and a clear change in personality that makes you look like the very thing you used to chastise, you used to make jokes at. Now, of course, people change, they grow and evolve into new forms. Idubbzzz, though, went down to BadOPCode. B for beta, you're welcome. You watching and then using these clips from those that troll you, as you yourself have referenced them as such, to make wider sarcastic points as coping mechanisms does nothing to dissuade the belief they have when you could instead be a bit more considered and measured. You were right about the resting bitch face, but you have taken all those clips out of context, not the ones of you, but them talking about you, to present your argument that they just don't know what they're talking about. These guys apparently know more about you than you're willing to admit, and your lolcow status is growing because of it.
Burn.
Oh, he's so uncomfortable. And he's smiling on his face.
What?
But inside his eyes, you can see his pain.
I'll stand by my earlier comments of using Warski and PPP to make your points. But I'm quite impressed you give them the time of day to watch the platform of Kick to observe their heavily bot-filled masterclasses.
For some reason, well, not for some reason, for the reason of sexism and people's view on OnlyFans and them just not liking Anissa, they want to push forward a narrative that she is actively and continually cheating on me. And if you listen to freaks like this guy I'm about to show, it makes sense why. They are obsessed.
Anissa wants to have sex into having sex with Anissa. I think he wants to bang Anissa. Anissa was horny and wanted to have sex with this therapist while Anissa...
So I'm going to skip over the rest of the clips of you using Kino Casino to get to your response to that. You are probably, more than likely, and I'm going to insert this as a, let's say, prediction, not going to address any claims that may have had legitimacy from other voices, but are instead going to use Kino Casino to dismiss those concerns off the bat. Because that's easier. Why make an effort when you can find an easy way out? Anything worth doing, by the way, Idubbzzz, is usually difficult, like telling your wife to shut up.
What we're describing here is two grown men.
Well, that's debatable.
Who are fantasizing about a stranger and his wife and what they do in the bedroom.
You yourself have said earlier on that your relationship has been entirely on the internet for all to see. Are you at that point strangers? The answer is no. Everything about you and everything about Anissa, you two lovely Joma-type moment deal situations, has been public knowledge for some time. How you two interact with other people, how you two interact with each other, is also there for all to see. A lot of which has been shared when it came to Creator Clash, how you two handled it, how you two interacted. It's important information. Yes, okay, a lot of what the Kino Casino virgins say is inferred. Of course it is. But that's a part of sarcasm. You know, that thing you're using against them as well, that you can't seem to take from them. Additionally, a lot of what is inferred comes from your status as a cuckold and a beta male, which stems back again to Dankula's video all those years ago, all because of how defensive you got when people found out your partner had an Only Fupa Fibro failed adult film actor account.
Or don't do in the bedroom. That is creepy weirdo shit.
And here we have Idubbzzz with the bull, folks. There's Idubbzzz with the bull.
He's using sexualized terms to describe a picture of me and my dog. And what are we doing?
This might not be the point you think it is, because you're using the wrong people to make it. And what they're saying, it's called mockery. It's the very thing you built your entire channel with, because you were very much the excellence of execution when you did make good content, that is. You were also a vastly superior moral arbiter when it came to making good points about behaviors and hypocrisies and double standards, all of which is gone with your reputation. If the majority of your views now come from hate watchers, you should take advantage of it. You should do a show with the Kino Casino, to be honest, because that would be hilarious.
So many people will tell Anissa and I of just like, don't feed into the hate. And it's like, okay, we're going to post some normal stuff. Anissa posts just me with a picture of my dog, and this is the type of commentary we get about it.
Idubbzzz with the bull. Gorgeous Gabe Plowder in the back room of the salon. 3-hour bukkake session with all of the male stylists.
What I love about this video so far is that you have provided a bountiful harvest for many a person. Yes, I'm going to do a part 2 to this if we get enough likes, by the way, guys. 500 should do it. You've provided enough of a bountiful harvest, all because, what, boiling point? Kino Casino have chosen you and your wife as their vaunted lolcow. You're their piñata. In the same way Ethan Ralph is the piñata of a few others, same with Nick Fuentes as well, in fact. Hassan Piker is the vaunted lolcow for others, and so on. And before someone says, what does it make them a healthier lolcow? Don't care, shut up. The overarching point is that is what you are to them. They're going to poke at everything you have. Your relationship, all of it is in the online space. I took no issue with the animal picture because your dog looked lovely. Looks lovely, sorry. Okay? Some people don't see it that way. And you've risen to that bait, which makes you look really brittle.
If you're curious about the hairdresser these guys are talking about, I will point you to my disgraced boxing coach, Michael Briggs. For some reason, this stupid loser and his dumb as rocks wife decided to go on the H3 podcast. They already spilled their guts. They were getting paid like $5,000 to go on this podcast.
Two things. Firstly, we did cover that podcast episode on this channel before. If I remember, I'll link it in the pinned comment. Second, it's interesting how you're so willing to insult other people's wives when their love is surely so strong and growing by the day, but you're not okay with your own wife being insulted? That's interesting.
I think they were maybe afraid that they wouldn't get the money if they didn't thoroughly trash us. So them maybe thinking that they weren't trashing us hard enough, Michael Briggs decided to invoke the name of one of his presumably friends and say that Anissa was like thirsting after him.
This is a fair use interjection. I'm glad we got to something with a bit more substance to it. It's just a shame with how you're about to handle it, because it, like the rest of this video, is quite poor.
She definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. Even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it.
For whatever it's worth, every time Michael Briggs, my disgraced boxing coach, would reference Gabe, he would always refer to him as Gorgeous Gabe.
Cute deflection. It doesn't debunk the point that your wife had a bit of a crush on someone. And it's not a massive point either, really. If you are secure and comfortable in your relationship, it's a non-point anyway. But you're being defensive. Again, you've allowed this trolling, as you've dubbed it, to overwhelm you to make this video.
I don't call him that. My wife doesn't call him that. If you have some unresolved sexual tension or fantasies, whatever the fuck it is, you need to keep that shit to yourself and not project it onto other people. I wish the best to Gabe. Michael Briggs, on the other hand, absolute creep weirdo.
So the next segment of his video, because he handled that very well, by the way, could you tell? So well, no projection at all, is about optics and morals. But I don't have the time, sadly, with all the extra work I have to do for the next couple weeks, to do it. Instead, if you like a part 2 to this, smash the like. If we get it to 500, I'll make a part 2 tomorrow. As a final thing, I'm going to be on Twitch and Kick later. Hope to see you there for some Star Trucker. Yes. September, by the way, guys. Give me your money. That's how it works, right? Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day, guys, and thank you so much for listening.